Almost stalled car, that's a good start. Did stall the car. Brilliant, well done. Thank you, sorry for driving like a buffoon. We were talking about natural paint versus eco paint versus sustainable paint versus VOC-free paint versus plastic-free paint. Insert terminology here, because some of it makes sense and some of it doesn't. So natural paints made from natural products. What's a natural product? Things like lime-based ingredients or mineral-based ingredients. Generally, natural will refer to non-petrochemical paints. Obviously, most paints are made of plastic with solvents. Eco paints. What are eco paints? Well, eco paints is a little bit more vague. This is definitely a term or terminology that is a bit greenwashy. A lot of people use the term eco paint because it doesn't really mean anything. Eco paint, okay, so maybe it's a paint that is a bit more environmentally conscious, not necessarily made from planet damaging things, but I think it's used by everybody. The plastic paint manufacturers use eco paint as well, because maybe they have created a paint that has a little bit less of a carbon footprint than the paint they had before, perhaps. There is also the chance that they're using the term eco paint, eco meaning economy. There's nothing specific on the tins to say eco paint means eco-friendly, even though that's what they're inferring or implying. But in reality, it could just mean, well, we're saying eco because economical paint. You know, you get really good coverage. So eco paint can mean anything. What are sustainable paints? Again, similar terminology to eco paint, that doesn't really mean anything. Maybe that paint has a lower carbon footprint than the one before. Maybe they're using recycled packaging. Maybe they've just installed solar panels on their roof, I don't know. It could mean anything, and these companies are not necessarily held accountable for actually what sustainability is or what eco-friendly is. Even though I use that terminology when talking about paints, our ranges of paints, it doesn't mean to say you should always trust that from other brands, where they might just be using that term, or they might be using that terminology just as something to put on their tin. VOCs come in lots of different forms, and they can appear in natural products too. For instance, Arrow have a range of natural oils, the old school oils, which do have a VOC content because they are naturally containing VOCs. They contain orange oil as the solvent, as it is not a petrochemical solvent, but it still contains VOCs. Now, there's been a lot of talk recently about VOC terminology changing again. Now, no one can say VOC-free or 0% VOC. No paint or nothing at all can be VOC-free because they found or realised that even in the deepest dark space, there are still VOCs present. So Arrow and Grafenstein, for instance, now mark their paints as trace VOC. But the reality is, the Arrow range of emulsion paints is VOC-free. Hopefully you understand what I'm saying is it's a little bit more complicated than just labelling something good or bad. It's all just one big sliding scale. It's more about the sustainability of the entire supply chain of all the ingredients that go into the paint or product that you're using.